A 13-year-old girl disappeared without anyone noticing. No alert, no missing person report, no search, because to the world, she still existed. But in reality, she was already gone. And the worst part? The people who were supposed to protect her built her disappearance. Before we begin, subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because what you're about to hear isn't just a story. It's a reminder that some lives vanish in complete silence. It all started on February 24th, 1998. A little girl was born in a quiet town. Nothing about that day hinted at what was coming. Her biological mother was struggling. Financially, emotionally, she couldn't raise a child. So she made a decision she believed was right. She gave her daughter to family. Because in most minds, family means safety. But sometimes, that's where the danger begins. A few years later, the girl was officially placed with her uncle and aunt. On paper, it looked perfect. A family adoption, a stable home, a safe environment. But reality was very different. From the beginning, something was wrong. There were already children in that house. Children who were loved. Children who belonged. And then, there was her. Tolerated. Barely accepted. Never truly part of the family. She wasn't treated like a daughter. Not even like a guest. She was extra. And in some households, when someone is extra, they become a target. Slowly, a disturbing pattern formed. The other children lived normal lives. They ate. They played. They received attention. But she was pushed aside, ignored, blamed, punished for things she didn't do. This wasn't random. It wasn't occasional. It was a system. In toxic family structures, one child is often chosen. The scapegoat. The one who carries all the blame, all the anger, all the frustration, all the hate. And in this house, that child was her. But it didn't stop there. The woman in charge didn't just abuse her. She organized it. She created an environment where everyone participated. The other children were encouraged to punish her, to hit her, to accuse her. And slowly, violence became normal. No one questioned it. No one resisted. Because when everyone is doing the same thing, it becomes the rule. And she became the exception. The one person who could be hurt without consequence. But behind all of this cruelty, there was something colder, more calculated. Money. This child brought in money. Every month, the family received financial support for her care. Subsidies, aid, government payments, a steady income. And suddenly, everything made sense. They didn't want her, but they needed her. She wasn't a child anymore. She was a source of income, a number, a payment. And to maximize what she brought in, they minimized everything else. Less food, no medical care, no attention. She barely survived. And as long as she stayed alive, the money kept coming. But there was still a problem. The outside world. School, teachers, adults, people who might notice. So they found a solution. Homeschooling. With one decision, she disappeared. No teachers, no school nurses, no supervision. She was erased from the real world. She still existed on paper. But in reality, she was gone. And inside that house, there was one place. One place that defined everything. A closet. Small, dark, cramped. Not for storage. A cell. That's where she was kept. For hours. Sometimes days. In complete darkness. No light. No sense of time. No human contact. And inside that space, she began to disappear. Not all at once, but slowly. Very slowly. Like someone was erasing her, piece by piece. From that moment on, survival became her only reality. Every day, every hour, every second, in a house full of food, she was starving. She could hear the others eating. She could smell it. She knew it was there, but not for her. And when she was finally given something, it wasn't real food. It was dog food. Cold, humiliating, degrading. Not just to feed her, but to break her, to remind her she was nothing. Her body started to change, or rather, stopped changing. She stopped growing. Her bones became fragile. Her development slowed down. At 13, she looked much younger, as if time itself had abandoned her. But the worst part was the violence. It wasn't rare. It was constant. Her face, her ribs, her arms, her fingers. She was beaten over and over again. Her bones broke, and no one took her to a doctor. No one treated her, so they healed on their own. Wrong, bent, painful. Every movement hurt. Every breath was a struggle. But there was something even worse. She was locked in. She couldn't leave, not even for basic needs. So her body did what it had to do. And for that, she was punished, beaten, humiliated. It was a trap, a system with no escape. Every outcome led to pain. There was no winning, no surviving. And slowly, something disappeared. Her humanity. She was no longer seen as a child, not even as a person. She became an object, a burden, a thing that was tolerated only for what it provided. And toward the end, she didn't even look human anymore. Her body was weak. Her skin was pale. Her eyes were hollow. She was injured, infected, exhausted. Her body was shutting down from the inside. And still, no one called for help, because help would cost something. And to them, she wasn't worth that cost. Then one night, everything stopped. She whispered, "I can't breathe." Those were her last words. No answer, no help. No one came, just silence. A few hours later, she was gone. And inside that house, no one cried, no one panicked, no one broke down. Because to them, this wasn't a loss. It was a problem. The next day, everything became calculated. Cold, precise, planned. A body had to disappear. But more importantly, an identity had to remain. Because as long as she existed on paper, the money would continue. So they acted. The body was taken far away, miles from home, to a place where no one would look. A quiet, isolated area. A shallow grave was dug. No ceremony, no respect, no goodbye. And she was left there, alone, once again. But that was only the first step. Because to make everything work, they needed a story, a believable one. So they created someone, a grandmother, a wealthy woman, who had supposedly taken the child in, who lived far away, far enough to avoid visits, far enough to avoid questions. And somehow, it worked. No one checked deeply. No one pushed hard enough. And while the truth lay buried, the money kept coming, month after month, payment after payment, as if nothing had happened. But lies like that don't last forever. There's always a crack. And this time, it came from inside the house. After an argument, someone talked. After years of silence, the truth came out. The closet, the hunger, the beatings, the death. And just like that, everything started to fall apart. An investigation was launched. The story collapsed. The lies unraveled. And one question took over everything. Where is she? Because without a body, there's no direct proof. But the authorities didn't stop. They used what they had. The money, the fraud, the lies. They had continued receiving payments for a child who was dead. And that could be proven. So they were arrested, charged, convicted. Not yet for the murder, but for everything else. And sometimes, that's how justice begins. Not with the biggest crime, but with the mistake. Then, over time, pressure builds. The truth weighs heavier. And eventually, someone breaks. A confession, a location, a forest, an isolated place. And there, they found her. What was left? Bones. A skeleton. A silent witness. But a powerful one. Because even without words, her body told a story. The fractures, the injuries, the damage. Everything was there, etched into her bones, like a diary that couldn't be erased. And at that moment, there was no more doubt. This wasn't a disappearance. It was murder. The trial followed. Charges were filed. And faced with reality, those responsible finally admitted enough. Not everything, not truly, but enough. Enough to be sentenced. Life in prison. No escape. No second chance. But even after all of that, one question remains. How? How does a child disappear for years without anyone noticing? How does an entire system fail so completely? Because this story isn't just about one family. It's about a system that didn't see, didn't check, didn't protect. And today, the real question isn't just what happened. It's what could still be happening. How many children are still invisible? How many closed doors hide the same reality? Because the scariest part is not the story. It's the possibility that it's not the only one. So tell me, do you think something like this could still happen today? Or somewhere right now? Is another voice fading into silence? And if that's true, who will hear it? Subscribe for more.